This is Jackie, and I'm here with Mike and Grim of Steep Canyon Rangers. Welcome. It's the 15th anniversary of Bonnaroo. You were at the first Bonnaroo, I heard.
Was at the first Bonnaroo, that's
What was
right,
that
yeah.
like?
Oh, amazingly disorganized and hot.
Gross and nice and hot. So I have in my hands Radio, which is your recent album, came out last year. Describe for me the songwriting process.
Well, as a band, it's something that we've always done and something that we've always, really associated ourselves with for a while. Being a bluegrass band, a lot of the bluegrass bands tend to play a lot of the traditional songs and standards, and that's kind of what we grew up, that's kind of what we were learning as a band when we started. But at some point, we were just like, we got to have our own songs. So these days, we have lots of, several writers in the band, and we'll bring them to the group and turn the band loose on these songs. And sometimes the results, sometimes you got a song that you love and it doesn't work for the band, and you just got to accept that and live with it. And sometimes you have a song that maybe you don't think it's that good, but the band loves it. So, having a group of people to bounce things off of and work on stuff is a good thing.
Teamwork is always key. What's a song or two that best represents the album's overall sound?
I think Radio does. It's got the stamp of our producer, Jerry Douglas, pretty heavily on it.
Yeah.
He was a fantastic producer in the studio, and, he really caught on to what we were trying to do and, our DNA bluegrass, but also kind of the way we're growing, and as a band, both as writers and as players. So, really focusing on the strength of our band and the strengths of the songs, So I'd say Radio, but there's a lot of ones I love on there.
And so as a bluegrass band that's continuing to evolve, how does your sound fit in with the Bonnaroo crowd? Very diverse crowd here, lots of different bands.
I think it fits perfectly because in the Rangers sound, there's something for everybody. We have a pretty diverse fan base. It ranges in lots of different ways, but more recently, for our live shows, we've been trying to explore more improv space and kind of meld songs together and just make a bigger show. And I think the Bonnaroo crowd is perfect for that. I mean, the whole festival is born out of kind of improv rock, and I think it's a good fit.
Yeah, just the spirit of exploration and taking chances,
And Bonnaroo Super Jam is notorious for bringing bands from across the different genres together. Who would you like to play with that might not necessarily fit into the bluegrass genre?
Ooh.
I mean, I'd like to play with the Dead.
That'd be all right. Yeah. Wow, I don't know. I heard Samande here today, early this morning, which is like one of my favorite funk kind of bands, and that'd be pretty fun to play banjo on.
Ooh, that's a good fusion. I want to hear that.
Might be a good fusion. Might be.
You don't know
But you
until
gotta
it's
try.
done, right?
I'm trusting in the musicality of both the bands. I mean, you've got the good experience. So how do outdoor festivals like Bonnaroo differ for you versus a more intimate club gig?
Well, I'd say, first of all, the numbers. I mean, when you play an outdoor festival, you'll have anywhere from 2,000 to 10,000 people at any given stage or more. And then in a controlled atmosphere like a club, you kind of stick with that number through the whole night. But at a festival, you'll have crowd A for 20, 30 minutes, and then something else will happen, and crowd B will come in. So it's really neat. You have to stay on your toes a little bit more at a festival.
Definitely. And again, we were talking about Super Jam. There's going to be another one later today. You've done collaboration in the past a lot. Tell me about your collaboration with Steve Martin and Edie Brickell.
Well, we started off playing with Steve and the Steep Canyon Rangers, and then he started putting these songs together, and I remember driving around in his car, and he put on these songs that he and Edie had written together, and he would have these banjo melodies. He'd send them to Edie, and she would put these words on them, these beautiful lyric melodies with these words that were like a counter melody to the songs, So taking those songs and what they did with Peter Asher, the producer of their record, and combining them with us, it was a challenge, for us, but it really paid off. I think it helped us in the long run, and I really love the music we make it together.
And helping each other is very important. Tell me a bit about some of the work that you've done to help local charities and other social causes.
Well, there's a lot of things that I could speak to. The first thing, the band has a festival. Steep Canyon Rangers have a festival in Brevard every year in September. It's called Mountain Song Festival. We just passed our 10th annual festival, and it's raised over $500,000 for the local Boys and Girls Club there. And we also partner with Oscar Blues, which is a brewery in town in Brevard, and they have a nonprofit arm called Cand Aid, we get to do some amazing things with Candid. One time they took us to a school in Arizona, and we played for the kids and then donated 20 guitars. And another time we did it also in Asheville, and it's just it's really good to be able to be a touring musician and partner with companies that want to use that and give back to the local communities. You can't ask for anything better.
Using your platform for good is always important. What's up next for you guys after Bonnaroo?
We've got a big summer, a lot of great festivals. I'm not the one who keeps track of where we're going or where we'll be, but I know it's going to be really good. We got a handful more shows with Steve Martin and Martin Short. We're doing some shows with them this summer. And, we're always just kind of working on new music these days and just really enjoying it and loving, the crowds we're playing for and kind of stretching out a little bit. It's a really fun time.
You're just going to go and play. Who cares where? Just go.
Just get on the bus.
It's Canada, West Coast. It could be an orchestra, a festival, a club. It changes every week.
Every day's a different day. Stay tuned for much more from Steep Canyon Rangers. This is Jackie. Thanks to In the Key of Change and Chorus.fm.